And we're
Hey.
Hi there, my name's Dakota. We are doing our monthly live stream for Fifth Avenue Cigars. Today we are joined by our good friend Carlos. He's more intelligent now because he is wearing glasses. He's trustworthy.
A little smarter, yeah.
A little smarter. A little smarter.
Good evening. Howdy, everybody. Welcome.
Let's see here. We've already got Chip saying good evening.
Is that
Chip?
Howdy, hip.
Chip.
That's rustic sourdough. That's our
Oh, nice.
our pipe smoking buddy.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I missed you last time. I guess I don't know if you didn't make it up or what happened. We just had a pipe club meeting last night. I don't know where you were at.
I found out about it on the way home. I drove by. I was like, well, the car's out in front of the shop.
I found out about it.
Called Ben. I was like, well, what's going on? He's like, pipe club
You
meeting.
don't blow it up too much.
Well, because it's a private event. It's a closed event.
Yeah, we're not open. I mean, but anyway, well, yeah, welcome to the live stream. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you.
For the viewers at home who don't know who you are, why don't you give yourself an introduction here?
Sure.
Or do you not need one?
Everybody knows me. Come on. No.
Everybody watching does it.
should we do a little, show a little stinger of who you are real quick and
Yeah.
a little theme music?
Yeah, a little Bob Ross. Oh, by the way, I'll explain why I'm wearing my Bob Ross
We'll get to
t-shirt
it.
here. But yeah, Carlos Pereira. I have been living in Alaska now for about 9
Carlos.
years. What is up, David Webb?
Que paso?
How you doing, David, sir?
Man. Yeah, I got into cigars about 16, 17 years ago. Kind of comes with the family too. On my dad's side, from Puerto Rico, they harvested tobacco. Big tobacco fields out there for generations. On my mom's side, it's more of the rum, the Don Q rum. My great grandpa from many moons ago, and so I thoroughly enjoy them so much that I decided about almost 3 years ago to start the Alaskan Cigar Aficionados. Yeah, great group.
Brought swag for us and
got some
everything.
swag,
Holographic
got some
stickers.
Thanks to those are cool. Thanks to Ricky Morrison, who's one of the guys in our group. Now lives in St. Louis. He's a pilot for GoJet, and he does these stickers on the side. So very grateful to have those for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get some of them.
oh yeah. He said he'd be on.
Jake
So
is
I don't know.
cracking. Jake just killed me. I'm sorry.
My ancestors
This is true.
Jake, what's up, brother?
Jake, I thought you were coming, dude. What happened?
I saw that out of the corner of my eye and it broke me. Just completely broke me.
Jake, we haven't seen you in a while. You got to stop by the shop.
I know.
Hope your family's doing well.
I don't think you
Say hi to
realize
Claire
this.
for us.
Yeah, tomorrow's Claire's first birthday.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Happy birthday, Claire.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Claire.
birthday.
And that's when we were removed from YouTube.
Yeah.
No, he's removed from you.
All right, I'm going to jump in here for just a second because here's the thing. We all know you and love you. We know about the Alaskan Cigar Aficionados. We've had you on here with them before. We do events. If you haven't been to one of our events, please subscribe, follow us, join, show up. It's a great time. But today, we're here for a different reason,
Yes.
and that's to do with another passion that you have in life. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I have been an oil painter now. I've been an artist now for about 32 years. And it all pretty much started with my mom, a little bit with my dad too, because a lot of on the Pereira side, there's a lot of artists there as well, a lot of creators, but mostly my mom. My mom tells a story where we were living in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. I was about 6 years old, and she says that, growing up, I was watching Bob Ross, and of course that's why I got still a fan of the guy.
Old Bob.
Old Bob. And she says this funny story where one day she's in the kitchen with my dad, and I'm sitting in diapers, Indian style, right in front of the TV. I'm just staring up at the TV like that, right? And I see this guy with a big afro and a squirrel on his shoulder. And he's painting trees and doing all this magic stuff. And my dad turns to my mom and taps her on the shoulder and says, "You see that? He's going to be a big artist when he's go big." Okay. and it happened. He was not, he wasn't wrong. And so, yeah, just, kind of through the years, it was probably in 91. So I was about 7 years old, about to hit eight years old. I painted, and I'm actually going to be showing this painting at the First Friday. I do have a First Friday, by the way, a big exhibition on next Friday, April 7th. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the International Gallery of Contemporary Arts. in downtown Anchorage.
Where's it in downtown?
So where Originally is,
Yes.
just right across the street.
So okay.
So where the
okay.
Bubbly Mermaid used to be, just
yes.
next door to there. Right
okay,
there.
so I'm trying to think that is
Okay.
that's not E.
D Street.
D is D. Okay, so
yeah.
D Street in between 5th and 4th,
Yep.
and it is on the east side of D Street.
Yep.
It's
east side
that
of D Street.
giant Art Deco building that's been there since the 30s.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
very,
that's-
the
yeah.
Cernos is in that building.
Yeah. Cernos,
Yeah,
yeah.
of
So
course,
that
okay.
same little
Everything
plaza there.
changes.
We
down
want
there,
everybody
though,
to be
so it's
able
good
to find it.
reacclimate,
Yeah.
It's
but,
all, yeah. It's
I
always
just
changing,
want
too.
everybody to be able to find it because
Yeah.
I know that gallery that you're talking about. So,
Yeah. And I've got the center gallery there. So there's going to be 2 other artists. One's going to be on the north side. One's going to be the south side. I'll have the center gallery. I'll have 18 original paintings there, and they're all going to be for sale. And the title of the exhibition is called Paracosms of Abstractions. And so this has been in the planning for about 2 years, a little less than 2 years now. But when I was in architecture school, about mid-architecture school, I really started to dive deep into abstract. So, again, going back to how I grew up and watching Bob Ross and the whole thing, I was painting a lot of landscapes. And pretty much the only thing I was doing, and I was pretty good at it. I won a couple of awards. I won some money in school, scholarships, this and that. But when I was in architecture school, they teach you how to think outside of the box, right?
so was your degree in architectural engineering or in architecture?
Architecture.
So there's a lot more art on the architecture side than there is the architectural engineering side, which is because I went to architectural engineering, and it's a lot less art.
Yeah. When it's strictly architecture, and not only the art side, but there's like interior design, there's industrial design, so there's like different electives and different things that you're kind of required to take to be
I
able
just
to
imagine someone going
let
to
you
school
think
to make
outside of the
toasters.
box. Huh? Yeah.
Going to school to make toasters, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like you can make some
Hey.
bomb-ass toasters.
Yeah.
I have
I
a
appreciate a good toaster.
I do.
I have a very fancy toaster designed by I think it's a furniture designer. It
I
was a
didn't expect
gift.
this to be a thing.
It was a gift. Okay, so I'm sorry to sidetrack this, but this is never going to fit in a conversation ever again. So I have to
I've
tell
been
it
waiting
now.
for this.
So, I have
This is
this
my time.
I have this fucking toaster. So I don't know why, but the designers of these things don't have any care for like what kind of room you have on your countertop or anything. So it's 2 slices, but they go side by side like this. So the toaster is like this. It's like 18 inches wide, and it's only about 4 inches thick. But it has like little trays that go in it, like a fryer.
Yeah.
So you have to pull the thing out and open it up, and you put the pizza toast in there, and you close it, and you fit it in there. So when you store the handles in this toaster that's 18 inches wide, it's now 2.5 feet wide because it's got these fryer
The
handles
handles,
fucking
yeah.
sticking out of it. So you can't store the thing on the counter anywhere because it takes up all the space.
I'm sure it looks really pretty.
It's very cool.
That's good industrial design right there. I mean,
I mean, it's
I'd rock that.
That's called brute force
I,
engineering.
Someone
I'd
was
rather see a
pissed when you
toaster
designed
that flips forward
I
and
hate
jumps
that-
out the toaster.
I dislike that I like it so much.
How many times have you burned your hands with the trays?
Oh, every fucking
You know
time.
what you got to get
On the
you?
handle.
In fact, what I do a lot of the times is you just flick the tray real fast, the toast just shoots out, and you fucking try to grab it.
We got to get you a sunbeam. You remember the sunbeam?
Yeah, I remember the sunbeam.
You set it in there, it automatically drops down, toasts it perfectly, and just pops it back up slowly.
All right, so let's get back to a real conversation. Sorry.
Architecture versus architectural engineering, Carlos.
Yeah. So
painting.
yeah. So it wasn't until architecture school where I began to think outside of the box, not only with architecture and commercial and residential design and things like that, just drawing lines and straight lines.
Were you drawn to one or the other, commercial over residential?
Did you get happy little accidents with the
sorry,
buildings and just integrated in
Do
there?
I have-
It kind of integrated. Yeah. So it kind of integrated into that. And I mean, as funny as that
Because I
sounds.
always leaned much more residential than commercial.
Yeah, I mean, they you get taught both.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah,
bit more
yeah.
commercial, just because there's a little bit more aesthetics as far as designs that you can kind of explore with
yeah.
commercial designs.
Well, I mean, we were always, like I said, our projects and all the things like that, it was always corporate or commercial.
Yeah,
But in my spare time, I found myself doing nothing but residential.
yeah.
All right,
It kind of depends too, because a lot of people, you have someone that's like, hey, I've got $600,000 and I want to design this house and this is the way I want it to look, and so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of the I can say that a lot of what I learned in the commercial side of design has actually paired well with the residential side of design nowadays. Like in today's society, I can see the crazy things that were designed back in 2008, 2010 when I was in art school. And then like it, back in the day, they were like, oh, that's, you can't, that's never going to happen. You can't. And then now it's like, you're seeing
the
those
place.
things,
See, I always found residential more intriguing because I found that the economy of use of space is so much more restrictive. You can't have these giant swooping atriums and shit like that.
Yep.
Because people are paying by the square footage and they're building this thing out of their own pocket. Like the challenge of fitting really cool design in an efficient and tight space that doesn't seem efficient and tight. I always found really interesting.
And then of course you got codes too on top
exactly.
of that.
Exactly.
It's like now there's certain things you can do. Now there's certain things you cannot
the board
do.
in the
It's
state, if you could just build a box with a door, that's all they want.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend who works for an unnamed engineering firm, and they were doing a custom house for up on Hillside, and they had interlocking glue lamp beams coming to a steeple roof, kind of like the top of like an old school castle tower, where it's a cone roof, and it was interlocking beams. Tried, true, tested, been around for like 3,000 fucking years.
Can't do it.
City of Anchorage said can't do it, even though there is several buildings in the state built that way that have been here since like 1901 and been through several earthquakes.
Nope. Yeah.
So what are we saying? What are codes?
The Anchorage, the people who approve novel buildings in Anchorage are very, it needs to be a connex with a door.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah. So again, back to the art and the whole thing. So then it was during that time, just kind of sort of finishing off architecture school, where I decided to try my hand at painting abstracts.
Do you do like wet on wet, or is it?
That depends. So I some of the pieces that I'll have actually at this is Dave. Oh. Yeah, some of the pieces that I'll have, I'm getting carried away now. But
we'll get to you guys in a minute. We're gonna let him finish the story.
Yeah. So some of the pieces I'll have at the gallery for the first Friday. They will a lot of them are sort of blended pieces, which you'll see. If you're there in person again, April 7th, next Friday, International
Friday. I'll be there.
Yep. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Again, I'll have 18 pieces up there, but some of the more custom, larger pieces that I have, I've kind of experimented with either just sort of solid colors or really blended colors, right? And so paracosms of abstractions. So what the goal of this exhibition is to try to get the viewer to, I want to be able to show the viewer or tell the viewer really, anybody that's viewing my art, how it is that I transcribe my dreams and my experiences onto canvas, right? And using the oil medium. So I'll give you an example. I have, there's a piece called Transcendental Departure.
Would you like me to try and pull it up?
It's on my website.
Did you send it to us?
I think so.
Okay, so then what we're gonna do is
let's roll with the conversation for the moment here, and soon we'll pull up some paintings, or if you can do it while he's talking. But keep going.
Yeah. So these Transcendental Departure was kind of when COVID started to really blow up. When the president gave the State of the Union address, the lockdown was starting, things were getting pretty serious. And I had a really crazy dream that I had actually died from COVID, but then where the dream started was really the sort of like the experience and the things that I saw as I was passing away, which was the craziest thing. And so, it's proven that if you wake up from a dream, at least 90 seconds after that, you have that dream, you can actually remember that dream for a long time.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I do is that I like to kind of remember these things because it's fascinating. Really, the human brain is really, really interesting because when I remember these things, I like to sort of dive deep into the feeling. Like, was there anything I smelled? Was there anything I tasted? Like, were there bright colors? Were there dim colors, sounds, things like that? You kind of come to your senses, right? And so what's funny is, and my fiance she can attest to this, but when I'm in the studio and I'm painting, I literally do that. I will, I'll light a candle that maybe in the dream I smelled something like vanilla or something, right? And so I'll go out and try to find a candle that smells like vanilla. if there was music, certain music, right? Whether it was jazz or, some cool, weird, ambient sounds or something, I'll do that. And so what I'll do is I'll really try to dial down every single detail to try to help me remember every single detail of that dream. And so what I do is I try to transcribe that onto canvases as best as I can using different imagery and using different pictures, right? And so I don't think I sent you guys that one there. It is on my website though, however, but I'll give you another example. There's if you click on the one that is, where is it? So yeah, right where your mouse is, the second one, down, sorry. Should be the second one on the last row. The second one's shipwrecked.
Down one more.
Oh,
That one more?
shipwrecked. Yeah.
That one right there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, exactly what I was talking about. This here was a dream that I had where, growing up, I sailed a lot. I still love sailing. I'll go sailing with my friends every now and then. And this was a dream that I had where we were in a crazy storm and our boat was pretty much sinking, right? It was toppled over. And so if you see the black lines, you can kind of make what maybe would look like a sailboat to you.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you can kind of go back to the full.
Oh yeah.
There.
Are
No,
we broadcasting this right now?
Yeah,
This is
it's
new for us.
It's broadcast right
Cool.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
this is
even
Carlos,
have to
by
be
the
on
way,
the
this
screen
is
for them to
Carlos's
see it.
art.
Yeah.
This is new for us. Sorry, we're kind of figuring it out, but yeah.
Yeah. So during sunset, gray skies, and what it is in the dream, when the sailboat had started to topple over.
I see the mast coming down there, and
Yeah,
then
the
it's
ma-
going over like the edge of the earth.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
there's kind of the reflection of the sun there a little bit. Again, kind of gloomy skies, kind of a macabre sort of atmosphere really at the time, from what I remember of that, right? And
I'm
so
seeing like a graveyard of ships down there with maybe like a guiding star of some sort.
yeah, and really this dream was kind of like, it was kind of it was a story, right? It started as something and then it ended as, everybody was underwater, and then we started, we could see there was like shipwrecks and there was things under the
I mean,
water.
if you've ever seen any sort of like ship catastrophe movie,
Yeah.
only 2 people out of the main cast ever survived.
Yep,
So-
exactly. Yeah. So this is kind of what I did here is I really wanted to put the entire dream, the entire story onto one canvas. And so in on this one here, I was kind of able to incorporate, yes, the sunshine, the sunset, that really stood out, right? It was dark. It was kind of, it was raining. There were winds. There were things going on, and so the blue part that's going down there, that's sort of the top of the ocean there, and then that blending you see going down was how fast we were actually sinking down to the bottom of the ocean. And so once you got down to the bottom of the ocean, you see these crazy kind of rusty, weird structures, boat, the shipwrecks, different
Graveyard.
metals, a
Yeah.
graveyard. Yeah, exactly. So that's that's kind of the idea. That's kind of what I do to sort of go get to that the approach that I do, to be able to come up with these sort of like, aesthetic abstractions and
Right.
the whole thing.
So to interject a little bit, if I think a lot of people who are on the outside of art world and not well versed in it might look at something they don't understand and be like, oh yeah, this guy just painted some lines and colors and stuff, and he's just kind of dicking off a little bit or whatever. But in reality, it's like this is an interpretation of a dream. And in dream, I think we all have dreams where it's like, I remember this little moment, I remember that little moment. I have like a flash of this vision,
Yeah.
a flash of that. The details in between are muddy,
Mhm.
and this is you trying to bring it together into like an interpretive piece of something that kind of like shook you out of sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, again, I really try to put myself in that mood, whether it's music, the type of music.
Sure.
It could be having wine, it could be having whiskey, it could be having water, it could be having
Sure.
chocolate milk, it could-
Sure.
anything
Ooh,
that
I love chocolate milk.
yeah, anything that I could do to really put me into that realm of that experience or that dream is kind of the goal, because then that in turn then helps me to be able to sort of translate that into art,
I dig it.
I mean, it could be a line, it could be a circle, it could be an explosion of lines and circles, it could be a crazy blending and details and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing in architecture school that they teach you is, and really this is anywhere, is there's no wrong design. There's no such thing as bad art. There's no such thing as bad design.
You haven't
Because-
seen mine yet.
That's true. I haven't. But really, it's I always tell people too, it's the one time, when I'm in the studio and I'm getting ready, I've got a blank canvas, I'm just getting ready to do whatever. It's the one time that I really have control of my own world. And no one else does, right?
It's
I
your
can do
He-Man.
I can do whatever the fuck I want on that canvas. And it's like you have this sort of like overpowering like sensation of you've got the world in your hands. Now what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Because I can do anything with any kind of color I want. I can paint with any kind of paintbrush I want. I can do it
Sure.
with a palette knife. I can put a bunch of linseed oil on that. I can put a bunch of turpentine on it. I can do whatever I want. And it may look like shit to some people, but to me, it makes sense, right? Hi, Lori.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
What's up, Mike?
Welcome to the table, Miss Lori Morse. Miss Mike.
That he went through a drastic change off screen. I
he
recommend
shrunk
this. This is
in
actually
size.
really good.
Well, that's very cool, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you
There we
sharing
go.
with that with
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that we're excited for you about the show. We know you, we love you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that is
and
my
we're-
date for your show.
Yeah, we're
Yay.
gonna, she's gonna be looking hot. I'm gonna do my best, and
I'm going to try
we're-
and
we're
show
gonna
up as the
come.
most pretentious art critic as humanly possible.
Hey, there you go. Man.
Yeah, when
don't
you-
steal the thunder.
I think you got it. I think you got it. Just do that
I'm
thing
not
where you
worried.
bite your glasses.
When you sent us the link
Yep,
to,
there it is.
for all the pictures and whatnot, I was like, what is going on with this? Are these supposed to be on the mural? Or I'm so confused right now.
What's the next picture you'd like to show? Or do you want to
Maybe we have a couple of comments. Not
Oh, yeah.
too
Oh
many.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Do a couple
visit the comments here. So we
Yeah.
got Jake coming in here saying his ancestors picked crops. We went over that. My ancestors probably picked, probably knew Jake's ancestors picking the same
I
crops.
think I actually want to paint something
so flippantly
that has to do with
pass
his ancestors picking crops. That actually might. that might
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
like-
Not on this wall.
No.
We're,
I would hope not. I
yeah,
mean, that's kind of the.
Did we just get canceled? I think we're canceled.
yeah.
City's gonna
This
shut
is
you
supposed to
guys
be the
down.
welcoming environment
Hey.
down here.
What's everyone got sparked tonight? What are you having, Chad?
All right, that's a
I've
good.
got
we'll talk
a
about cigars
Catch
for a moment.
22
Yeah.
Connecticut, big old Gordo here.
It looks delightful.
Actually, what Ben and I both have are a
So
couple
I'll-
of cigars from the Leaf.
It's the Veterans of the Leaf.
Veterans of the Leaf.
His name is
Oh.
Joey.
Mhm.
He's come in a couple times recently to the shop. He's a friend of the shop. Comes in now and then. He travels. Joey, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your last name at the moment, but he runs
Joseph.
he runs Veterans of the Leaf. Photo. It's a cigar page on Instagram. VOTL Veterans of the Leaf. You can't miss him. Please look him up. And he just showed up last week and had like 10 cigars for us that he'd just gone to California and gone to some cool shops and picked up more boutique limited, I don't know, just this and that. We've had Catch 22 here before, but we haven't had that.
What is that?
The Catch 22 Connecticut.
Is it good?
Mm.
It's pretty tasty so far, yeah.
I've always been a fan of the standard Catch 22. I'd like to try that.
Is that the one? Is
Well,
that from
here,
Veterans?
They were take a puff if you want, I guess. He gave us one of each of several cigars, and you're welcome to try
Do
it.
they have like a cigar condom so we can trade back? and forth?
Just put your mouth on it and just.
I
I don't want what
Take
Chad's
care.
got.
Whatever happens, happens, man. Yeah,
It's
no.
like
We're
it's like
friends
being
here.
bit by a
Yeah,
werewolf by
right.
Chad.
And Ben, what do you
I have a Tatuaje, which I couldn't help but
Oh.
grab because I love Tatuaje because of my buddy Dave. Hi, this is Dave.
Hi,
Hey.
Dave.
He introduced me to Tatuaje.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Tatooine?
He got me into it.
Kahonu?
Cojones.
Is that in my
Tatooine
Kahonu?
cojones.
Kahonu?
Cojones is like a pissed off person, like really
All right.
like a moody guy.
Well,
Like,
now I'm angry.
Yeah.
This is the Tatuaje Kahonu. 2012. I don't know, but it's freaking delicious so far. It's naturally. I'm getting a lot of like tobacco sweetness off of it. It's smooth but not boring. Toasty. It's quite nice. And anyway, Chad and I want to give a shout out to the Veterans of the Leaf, to Joey. If you
thanks for
yourself, if you're
stopping
watching
in.
this, or you happen to be a veteran, please check out their page. Or even if you're not, it's cool people to rub shoulders with and hang out with and smoke with.
nice.
So check them out. We might try to get them on here one of these days. But anyway, these are great cigars, and thanks very much to Joey. Thanks very much, Veterans of the Leaf, for
Are they the
hitting
guys that do
us up with
the?
these.
Everyone at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Thanks,
Thanks,
Joey.
Joey. I don't know what.
Thanks,
Whatever. I was being legitimate.
Are
Carlos,
those
what do you
guys that do the, like the where you send them cigar boxes and they kind of crate them up and they send them over.
No,
Nano
Nah,
cigars
we-
for warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different thing. He's more of like a group where it's like, you know,
Guys hanging
like-minded
out.
people,
Mm.
veterans want to get together and talk to people who've had similar experiences and have some smokes and
Nice.
that kind of thing. But also
Uh,
just super friendly dude. Please check him
Nice.
out.
Yeah. Cool.
Man, what about you, man? What you got here? I told you I
yeah,
tagged
yeah,
I told you I
he's-
tagged Padron in my marketing on this. I was trying to get him to join. Maybe they'll show up. I know you're a Padron guy. What you
These,
got?
yeah.
What you got?
Big Padron fan. So these I typically smoke on super special occasions, like when I got
Aw.
yeah.
When you
don't-
proposed?
Don't cry, Lori.
Aw.
When I proposed to my fiance, my lovely fiance Tasha,
Ooh,
back in September in
Congrats.
Seattle. Yeah. So
she said no, by the way. Send
that's true. Yeah.
Send
This
condolences.
is from the 25-cent machine. I'm just kinda... But yeah, so I figured I'd bring it here tonight because for one, I haven't been here in a while, and I miss all you guys.
Been too long.
Been too damn long, man. So I decided to spark this up, and this is a Padron 1926 series, 80 years. So the cool thing about this is a Figurado, and the cool thing about the cigar is that there's one guy in the factory in Nicaragua that rolls these cigars.
Really?
There's
Like
one guy that
a guy.
A guy that
What's
rolls
his
these
name?
cigars. Carlos. No.
Good.
Dakota.
I'm gonna say
Dakota.
I'm gonna say Antoine.
Dakota.
Antoine, obviously.
Could be Jose. I don't know. Felipe.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Ted.
Let's see
Anyway,
here.
not to interrupt. Keep
yeah,
it
yeah,
real, keep it
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, probably definitely my favorite cigar. Super chocolatey. I mean, the minute you light it up, full pepper blast, full cocoa. You get some coffee flavors in there, which I'm a fan of. All that. I love pepper. I love cocoa. I love coffee. I've paired this before with coffee. Goes pretty good. Paired it with like a Macallan 12, Macallan 15 goes very great. I'm actually pairing it tonight with
What do we got here?
Redwood Empire, and it is damn good. Probably one of the best pairings with this guy that I've done.
Really?
I'm kind of getting like.
Did you bring that?
No. My buddy Dakota here.
No, actually, Mike said get something none of us have ever had. So I got Redemption Weeded Bourbon, and then I also got this
Nice.
guy, Redemption Empire,
Okay.
Lost
I'll
Monarch
have to
blend
try
of
it.
straight
That is-
whiskeys.
That is so good, man. That is so good. Yeah. Again, getting like papaya and banana flavors in this thing.
Nice.
For
For the price point, this is actually pretty good.
Flavors.
It punches
Yeah,
up. I'll say that.
it's good.
It needs to be higher proof though.
Yeah. I think there's a red one. So that's like the blueprint. There's a red one that I've seen. I don't know. If
That's
it's like a
rye.
Oh, the rye? Yeah.
I didn't want rye.
No.
I
Yeah.
was like, no, we're not getting rye today.
I've had that one. It's pretty decent, but I haven't had this one before. And yeah, pretty damn good.
Miss Lori.
I have a real cigar for you.
I just have a Dutch Delight, like a Sumatra. I wasn't planning on sitting in, so
She subbed in. Mike had a thing to take care of real quick. But she's subbing in. And so wasn't prepared. But this girl smokes a lot of badass cigars. But you know what? Let's talk about Dutch Delights.
they're underrated. They're fun. They're easy.
They're
breakfast
inexpensive.
cigar.
They're extremely inexpensive, but they're not bad. They don't taste like crap. They're smooth. They're good. They're tasty. Lots of nice natural
If you ever
tobacco
want some,
flavors.
I have a box of 200 of them upstairs. Feel free. They're not my bag.
I've
mean,
never had one. I
We
wouldn't
don't
know what it
normally
was.
sit here and talk about Dutch Delights, but you know what?
It's
Hey,
like one of those things.
They're
It's
not
like
bad.
yeah, they're really
Every
not
once in a
that bad.
while,
I
you're
smoke one
outside
fairly
doing s'mores,
often.
and you're like, fuck yeah, I want that.
Sometimes you
I'm a bad
only have like
father.
10 minutes and you want something that is pretty decent. That's a good way to go.
Is that the only size, or do they come in kind of like?
We got the wilds, which
the
are
Sumatra,
a little
there's
bit
a-
bigger.
They're
while the
definitely
regular Dutch
closer to
Delights are-
cigarettes
Yeah.
as far as size.
They're just easy. It's a good
breakfast
coffee one.
cigar?
I
Hey,
gotta
summer's
say,
almost here.
I gotta
I'm
say,
buying
it's
some
not
good
my cup of tea.
That's funny, Chad, because I have this book here.
That says a cup of tea.
It says, hey,
Or
this is your
your-
cup of tea.
We got to get that book at one.
All right.
But they're just like a
Jokes
fun,
aside.
small, easy cigar, which I
Sure,
really enjoy.
yeah. But still quality. Like, it's definitely not a Swisher or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's still a cigar.
MG
Dakota, what you
Monkey-
smoking here, bud?
I'm having a Ramon Boiso,
Oh, yeah.
Ramon.
the Legend
You got me
Ooh.
those.
Project.
Decent,
The
right?
Project Legend.
So
I always mash that up.
Genesis.
Genesis, the Project Legend. His names are so horrible, but I've got a Ramon Boiso. It's fantastic. These are always my go-to when like nothing else tickles my fancy. And I mean, it's been a while and nothing's tickled my fancy, so I went with this. I really enjoy it.
Well, at least you found a new fancy.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what he named his fancy. That's
tickle.
Genesis, the project. But I do really enjoy
That's what
this.
you named it?
For you don't want to know the name.
Ramon Bueso. Just in case you didn't know, Ramon has been in the business a long time.
He does
and
blending for all sorts of other companies. Some of Punch's most popular cigars are blends by him.
Punch, Hoyos.
Hoyos.
Yeah.
And he makes his own stuff, and his own stuff is definitely inexpensive, but it punches way above its weight.
Yep.
And as far as the quality and flavors in the cigar, it's great. And I'm pairing it with the, I started out with the Redemption Wheated Bourbon, which I got to tell you, 1792 Wheated is better in every respect and slightly cheaper. So then I switched over to Redwood Empire Lost Monarch, which is a blended of straight whiskeys, and it brought out a lot of flavors in the cigar, and I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
I can't complain. I've had this numerous times on the cast and other situations. It's
I think
one of my
Ben
favorites.
got me into those, and man, the first one I think we were at Bernie's or something. Had when I was
Pretty
Big
sure
Punch,
I'm the one who
I
said
gave
we
you
should
one.
bring those in. You and I both, in our personal lives, have bought samplers of them, I
Yeah.
think. And I was like, yeah, these are solid. They're affordable.
I had a box of these.
We
that
need to
went
bring
through
them in. I
So
bought a
good,
box.
dude.
Yeah.
They burn so evenly too.
Mhm. And they're definitely long filler. And for upper low end cigar price range, these are definitely equivalent of like a mid to mid high cigar range as
Yeah.
far as quality, burn, everything else. I've never
Nice.
had any issues.
Price wise, they're cheap, but like you said, they punch above their, like they're pretty damn good.
They're sleepers.
Let's I think we got a couple more here, and let's
Let's
go
see
through
here.
some comments and get back to Carlos.
Jake is coming through here saying that permits are for suckers. That's
He's right.
true.
He's right.
Unless it's visible on the outside of your house in Anchorage, then you definitely need permits.
though.
Or if you sell your house,
or
then
if
you need
it's-
to have everything permitted into
No.
how the
no, because
structure
you
is.
bought it that way.
Did you know?
Well, unless they rip the walls down, they won't know.
They got records.
Did you get
Sometimes.
COVID and put yourself back in the dream? I did get COVID after that, but not to put myself back in the dream. Although that would have been pretty cool. That would have been kind of weird though. I don't know.
Take COVID, go drink.
We got
Yeah,
Chip
rather
chiming
dream
in
with
here
someone
while
else.
you're
COVID.
waxing poetically there, saying that I hope everyone is well.
Welcome back, Chip.
Chip.
Thanks, Jake. We got Machine Gun Monkey. Hi.
MG, what's up, buddy?
Late to the party, but
Thanks
just
for
woke up.
joining.
Make sure as you
Good
wake
morning.
up, you light a cigar and you start your day the right way.
Which I do.
Who's MG Monkey? I want to meet this person.
He's a fan of our channel and
Nice.
Chook, and we interact with him all the time on here. Like,
Yep.
he's
Here,
cool.
You know, you should
NK, and
come in sometime so I can actually meet you. 'Cause
Yeah, come
I can't
introduce
put a
yourself.
name to the face.
question is are you in Anchorage?
All right.
Yes, he is.
So
Come on down.
I believe he's a
Is it
wrenching kind of person here in Anchorage.
Okay, I was gonna say he said just woke up. I'm like, are you in London or
France.
Well,
yeah.
I
Mission
see
Gun
someone's-
Monkey, we will be changing our hours to closing at 8 or something like that eventually. So at that point, you could come in and hang out if you just woke up right now.
Maybe he's doing the late shift of some sort of repair around the clock thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we won't know until we meet you.
Some people
All
work
right,
nights.
so-
It happens.
I want to go back to Carlos, but first you got a cute little jar here with a couple of brushes for effect.
Yeah.
But this one, and you've got the Bob Ross shirt on. If I'm not mistaken, this is the one after he does like the dark colors of the pine tree.
Yep.
This is the one where he puts like the
Mhm.
light, like put a little snow on the
Little
branches,
snow- yeah,
and that's
yeah,
when
yeah.
it pops, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Bob
yeah.
Ross, you son of a gun, you've done it again."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
So these are called fan brushes.
So Bob Ross uses a trowel, a brush like this, and a brush like that. Is that correct?
he's got a few.
He's got a few. He's got like 9 different ones that he uses, different sizes.
There's
'Cause-
plenty of content out there. Check it out.
Yeah. So this is called this is a size 4 fan brush. Now these are a little bit more of my high end brushes because these are badger hair. This is real badger
Ooh.
hair here. So is this one here, my blender brush.
That seems a little
Badger
aggressive.
is not cheap. We've
Yeah.
got some Badger shaving brushes upstairs in the.
We gotta
Mild
catch the
man- mild
fuckers
man.
and shave them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
you guys
just,
got-
I
you guys
just
have
paint with
badgers
mine
back
all
here.
the time.
We butcher them in the back all the time.
Cook 'em. Oh,
Badger
here
stew,
comes
man.
Peter. Here.
Uh,
Yeah. So
Go ahead, that's right.
any details that I do with Ben had a good point. Snow, whether it's like foliage,
Is it
fall
because
colors on
it's super
things,
stiff and
super stiff.
stippling?
Yeah. On the piece called oh my god, I have to pull that up on my phone because I have so many pieces. Subterranean Passage. So
would you like me to pull that up?
yes, I think I sent you guys a picture of that one there. So the reason why I've got probably 100 and something brushes at home, but the reason why I brought these two is because these, It's gonna be the I
Not
did
the label.
not send that one.
Oh,
Interesting.
Do you have
Well,
one that does
go
feature
ahead.
that?
Whatever. We'll get.
Yes.
okay.
If you, on the number 3. This is a good one that I'll talk about here because I actually sold this painting to a surgeon.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, I sold this painting to a surgeon at Providence, probably in 2008, 2019, 2018. I can't remember when that first Friday was. It was here in downtown. But she bought this painting from me and is completely obsessed with it. And so I'll start out by saying that I actually used both these brushes on that. The blender brush, the reason why I like Badger hair is because one of the things that I've found through my 32 years of painting is synthetic versus real hair, right? So I like using horse hair is great for oils. It kind of blends, it kind of helps to blend the paint a little bit more.
Yeah.
Badger hair is even softer, right? So
You'd think it'd be harsher.
you would think it'd be harsher, right? Because I mean,
They're little
if you
bastards.
feel that, it's like, yeah. I mean, it's rough hair, right?
Ooh, that's nice.
But the minute this stuff touches the oil, like any of the pigment that's oil based, and I use a lot of linseed oil. Like this painting here, I actually used a shit ton of linseed oil on this. The reason why is because when I really tried to blend in and make, like when you see the gray, the black kind of blending into the white, on the bottom you see the sort of like the opaque or sort of like the dark yellow with kind of goldish amberish colors in there. That takes a long time, and it literally takes me probably half an hour to just sit there and do this number all the time on the same spot.
Do you ever do one stroke too many? You're like, fuck.
If I use a cheap ass brush, yes, which is the reason why I don't use them. Because, and then also, if you go to my website,
So it's more of a gradient with that.
Yeah, like a gradient, right? If you guys go to my website and you look at my Northern Lights paintings, so I have a series of Northern Lights paintings, which
Wait, pause. What's your website?
CarlosPereiraArt.com. So it's CarlosPereira art.com, and that is my website. And Lori is modeling my card. So yeah, there we go.
I don't know what our camera is right now. I think it's still your painting.
Yeah.
Which one did you want to show here?
So the Polar collection. So if you go all the way to the end, and then that's my Northern Lights painting series right there, right? So
Okay.
if you
Let me go ahead and remove that, and we're going to do a thingy here.
There you go. Yeah.
This is brand new for us, guys. Right? Our man Dakota here is actively figuring this out. But go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, Dakota, if you want to click on abstract. So the first one.
Abstract? Okay.
Yeah. And then
son of a bitch, goes in a new tab.
is it?
That's fine.
Oh, you have to reshare the screen?
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Share screen, tab,
I need to change that.
Polar abstracts. There we go.
Yeah,
Bam.
there you go. And then you scroll down, you keep going. More. And it's going to be the subterranean passage, the lower left-hand corner one.
Bottom left.
Yeah, there we go. So that's a good example.
I like
Same
that
panel.
Yeah, I love that.
So this is the one that Mike was all over here. So this is a good example.
In every direction.
It is. Yeah.
We sat here one night together and
turned it,
and we're like, each way it's so beautiful and like gives you a different thing.
Yeah. So here's a good example of what I do as far as the technique of using a blender brush versus something like this, right? So if you guys look at the white on the very right side of the painting.
I don't know if we're even on there. Are we on there?
Yeah, we're on there.
Are we on there? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Cool.
It is.
I had no idea.
So if you guys look on the right side, the sort of like the white that's sort of like shooting off to the right. That's actually done with
this brush right here.
right?
And this brush is on sale for $1,000.
It's
Go to Carlos.
It was a $170 brush, but I mean, I don't know that I'll sell for that. I mean, if somebody wants to buy it for
You never know.
And then to sort of like the middle and then the right side of the painting, the blending in there was done with this brush here. And so again, if anybody's watching this and you guys are aspiring artists, or maybe you have kids that are like kind of in school and they want to paint, they don't know how to. I would, I'm not a snob for crazy expensive brushes because there are brushes. I mean, I've seen a brush go for $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 for one brush. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever need to buy something like that because I do good with my brushes.
Have you tried one?
I have tried a $3,000 mongoose hair brush.
Ooh.
And oh my God, that was like, it was like playing a freaking Stradivarius violin. Like
Snobbery.
yeah. Like, but you know,
Can you get the job done with something for $200? Sure.
yeah, right. Unless my last name was Picasso, which unfortunately it's not. It's close to Pereira. I would recommend, you know, don't go too cheap. I mean, you know, you definitely want to you want to dial down the form. You want to get the feel for how your brushes glide on canvas. Maybe experiment with different types of oils. There's safflower oil, which I've used that before. That kind of dries a little faster. There's linseed oil, which this painting here is nothing but linseed oil. Linseed oil, what that does is it takes a long time to dry. Like this painting probably took about a month and a half to dry. But it does a real good job at sort of blending in the colors really, 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 you know, again, depending on how you want to blend your colors, right? Does that mean my
I have
time's
a
up? Oh,
question.
No, that's just Dakota
somebody's got their
squeaking
hand
the
up.
cork.
Oh, it's Lori. Mike, Lori.
So you only do oil painting?
I do acrylics as well.
Okay.
Thank
So, I mean, obviously oil takes longer to
Mhm.
dry. Why do you choose oil over acrylic?
I think it's because for one, I growing up, I learned the oil technique.
It's a little bit more malleable.
Yeah, and also I think it's also the fact that with acrylics, you have to use water. Like you have to spray water onto your, you know, whatever, whether it's a wall or canvas or like a piece of wood or, you know, whatever you're painting on.
Is that like why Bob used to beat the canvas at the beginning of the shows as to
You mean
wet down?
on the easel?
No, he used to wet down his canvas.
So that's different. So he does nothing but oil, or did nothing but oil, right? And so that's called the wet on wet technique. And pretty much what that is, it's white oil paint mixed with linseed oil. And what that does is that puts a sort of like a base that won't dry, and it's super slippery. It's like pretty much like oil. I mean, you touch it, it's just like, ooh, like you get it all over your hands and all that. But what that does is, like, once you put that on your canvas, and that's like kind of like the base for your medium, when you start to apply different colors on there, your brushes glide like there's no tomorrow, right? So it helps with blending. Like say you're doing a sky, you know, background, or you're doing something like this, where like if you look at the middle of the painting,
So that's why he gets so aggressive when he's doing like branches and stuff with so much like material on the brush. Because otherwise they'll just.
Yeah, and one of the tricks to that too is, you know, and I actually learned this from Bob, you know, growing up watching him do this, is you have to think of the viscosity of oil, right? So oil and water. Like if you want something to stick to the canvas, and your canvas already has oil, you have to thin that paint out. And the way you do that is you mix a little bit of turpentine into that, because that kind of thins out the oil. So what Bob does is that whenever he's doing like say he's got the sky and he's got the ocean or like, you know, lake or whatever, he's, you know, reflections or whatnot, right? And he's getting ready to put a tree on there. Like you guys have probably seen where he just slaps this black thing on there. And he's like, I guess we have a tree here. What are we doing?
Whoops.
Whoops, I messed it up. But then he goes back, and then what he does is he'll get some turpentine, or a lot of times like it is I forgot the other it's kind of like, it's a paint thinner is pretty much what it is.
I remember him talking about paint thinner / turpentine. I've watched a lot of Bob.
Yeah. He'll mix it up. He'll thin it out, and then that helps to place that thinner oil onto that canvas that already has that oil, right? So back to what you were talking about, Chad. Yeah, the wet on wet, that really helps to blend in background colors. Anything you want at the foreground, that paint has to be fucking thin, because otherwise it won't stick. I still run into that problem where, like, sometimes I'm painting something and I want something to pop out in the foreground, and I don't have my paint like thin enough, right? And so I've got this blob of paint in here, and I go to stick it on the canvas, and then there's like nothing there. But I've picked up the paint that's on the canvas on my brush.
It's back on your brush, like reverse.
And I'm like, fuck, like what am I doing here? So then I have to clean the brush, gotta go back, I gotta thin it out a little bit more, and I have to keep doing that until I find that balance, and then I can be like, okay, that's where I'm putting this freaking palm tree in there, or this, you know,
Science.
whatever.
Hey,
Yeah. I mean,
Gives a little bit of respect to the guy because he did it on the fly in like 5 seconds. Oh, that's the right mixture. There we go. Bam.
he also painted 5. So what you saw on TV was like his 4th or 5th painting of the same painting. And so by the time he got to like 4 and 5, he's like, oh, I know exactly what to do here, dude. Like 2 drops of this, 2 dips of that.
He had like a
that.
couple thousand episodes too. So you know,
Yeah.
5,000-6,000 paintings underneath his belt.
Yeah, so
All
it's
done in a
fun.
half
It's
hour.
interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, in 32 years of painting and doing this, like, you know, you after a while you kind of get used to it. But let me tell you, man, I painted pretty much all my life, and I still run into problems. I mean, there's still times where I'm like, I'm in my studio and I'm like, you know, I'm not having this tonight, man. And then I put my brush away and I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow, like, or I'm gonna wait till this weekend, and you know, and then I kind of have to gather my senses again, and I'm like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's see
So-
what we're doing. And
Using the oil, it doesn't dry out. And
Yep.
you can just jump right back in and not
Yep.
have to worry.
yeah,
Pretty good.
Yeah. And so, and with acrylic, so to answer your question, I will have the transcendental departure piece that's on my website. That's acrylic right there. And so that was the background, and I think
Is that in here?
Yes. If you go back to if you go to
Abstract.
gallery, yeah. If you go to the gallery, or click on home and go to abstracts. And I'll tell you which one it is. It's
Bottom left corner.
So actually, here's a good one. So on the second row, the third one, the kind of with the bluish sort of
Yeah,
teal
groundswell.
background. Go to the groundswell. So
Groundswell.
no, down
Down one.
one.
Directly
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, that one's beautiful.
Yeah, that'll be at the
I like
show.
that.
That's an abstract. That's an acrylic abstract there. And again, that was the background of that painting was one where I had to have a spray bottle with water, and as I was sitting there trying to apply these colors in the background of this thing, I had to keep spraying it because water is what blends acrylics as to, you know, what oil does to oil paints, right? Or turpentine or linseed oil.
This is called groundswell.
Groundswell, yeah.
I feel
like
like it
that,
should
man.
be
That's
called
cool.
catastrophic failure.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, art is open
you're-
to interpretation,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
that is
Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've had people. I had this at the mayor's charity ball actually for auction, and actually it was not up for auction. It was only up for viewing. And I had someone that came up to me. And they were like, "Dude, you know, if you turn that, like, it looks better." And so I took it out of the wall and I turned it, and I was like, "You're not wrong. Yeah, it looks badass. I would probably hang it on my wall like that." And there's different paintings that I've painted where you turn them. Yeah. You turn them. I've had First Friday with Fridays. Yeah, different perspectives, right? Like, I mean, I can interpret this a certain way, but then, like, you know, say like you, Dakota, you could be like, "Oh, dude, this reminds me of, like, I don't know, like when I was surfing one day and I caught a fish and I did this or I did that or blah blah blah." Like, you know, there's
All at the same
all
time.
at the same time. There's different things, and so there's different colors. There's different, you know, everybody's different, and so you maybe you see something in this painting that I won't see, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, you're right, dude! I didn't know that," you know.
Is this going to be on display at your art show next week?
Yes, this one will be on display.
So I'm going to do this.
I'm gonna
when
have to
I'm
pull it out of the
there.
wall.
Can we grab it and turn it?
You can't grab it. If you let me
I
know,
will just-
I'll get it down.
I
for
won't
you,
touch
but-
anything. I won't touch
I'll just do this, and I'll do this, and I'll look at it, and I'm
I
like,
feel like
"Huh."
you should put it on like a turnstile in the back where it automatically turns
That's
every
what-
couple seconds.
Yeah, so that one that Mike, the one you pulled up earlier, the one that Mike likes, if you actually turn that painting clockwise, it literally looks like you are kayaking between two mountains.
Yeah.
And it's like dawn or something outside, right? And I didn't know that. The way that I painted that painting was the way that you see it on the website, right?
Mhm.
And then, but then, you know, you turn it and you do different things. And I mean, it wasn't until Mike mentioned that, and I was like, holy shit, you're right. Oh my God.
That's pretty fun though.
I should
That's
totally-
pretty
yeah.
cool. Like, how just like a little shift is
Yeah,
like.
yeah. The other cool thing too, which I'll mention too, and you guys, if you go to the show, you'll notice this too. I sign certain pieces and I don't sign certain pieces. The pieces that I don't sign are the ones that I think you can turn and you can. So really, I leave it up to the viewer or the buyer, right? So like, say, you know, I painted this painting going this way, right? Like, this is one of my pieces. This is Saturday Night right here, an oil piece that I had, 24 by 24. Painted this like 4 years ago, I believe. But, you know, if someone liked it like that, okay, cool, you know. But if you like it like that because it reminds you of something, right? I don't know, maybe you had a dream or some experience or something like that, then if the buyer wants me to sign it this way, I will sign it there for them. Because,
That's fun.
yeah.
I've never.
That's cool.
I didn't
And I
know
just-
that was a thing.
Makes
Yeah,
it custom.
And it just makes it custom, right? So I mean,
That's very
and really,
cool.
it's whatever you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
Now the pieces that I've signed are kind of the ones that I'm like, well, this is the way that I kind of wanted it to be. It's the way that I thought, like, especially for my dreamy ones, especially with a lot of the abstracts. obviously a lot of the landscapes. I mean, I don't know that someone's going to want to hang a mountain upside down above their fireplace,
You never know.
but if you want to, I mean, you know, you got options, man. You know, so
That's
Yeah.
so cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
yeah, pretty fun. I have fun with it. Again, I really got to give it to my mom. My mom, she just retired about 4 years ago, and she taught art for the better half of her life. And she's back in Houston, and she was an art professor. She taught me. I went to private school in middle school for about a year, and so she was my art teacher. And again, just kind of growing up with the smells of oil paints and thinners and things in the house. I mean, I literally walk into my studio and the entire world just disappears. I turn some music on. I might have a glass of whiskey or wine or whatever I want, and then it's just like goodbye world. And then I'm just in this. As soon as I smell the oil paints, I'm just like in this zone of like
Just nostalgic.
creativity.
That's cool, man.
And I just have weird things
It's
pouring
like
out of my
a safety
mind.
blanket
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's great.
Tasha's chiming in here saying she's seen
Yeah.
you
Wait,
walk away and
who's this
restart.
lovely lady?
Hey.
Who's this little Tasha
I've
chiming
seen
in
him.
here?
All of the canvas and
If you go to
Restart.
the next
Restarts. Oh,
I've
comment
seen
there.
him
There
in
we
all
go.
the
Oh, here we go.
canvas
I've
racers.
seen him scrap a whole tree off the canvas
And
scrap a whole
restart, yeah,
tree and
yeah.
restart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Art.
Hey, that's art. Yeah, I've that's one thing my mom taught me how to do too. Is, you know, again, going back to there's really no wrong or right in art, right? I've run into things where, in kind of like what my fiance was saying here, is like I will put a tree somewhere, I'll put a mountain somewhere, and I'm like, this sucks, dude. And I get my palette knife and I just scrape the shit out of it, right? And it just leaves this like crazy blended blob of oils in there. And then I go back and I'm like, I'm gonna do this again until I finish it. And sometimes the tree has taken me 10 minutes, sometimes it's taken me 10 weeks.
And at
You
the
know.
end of it, it has a nice shadow.
And it has a nice shape. It's got a little scrape there you can't really see because I put a bird on it there. You can't see that scrape, but yeah, it's just the magic of creating things, right?
By the
We
way,
got,
who is this mysterious woman on here? Tasha.
Yeah, who is Tasha?
Tasha is my fiance.
Oh,
That's
what?
her.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Turns
Boy
black and white.
is married. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
so happy for the both of you. And Tasha, we love you very much. You're super awesome and cool. I always love when I see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with this guy.
Oh man, jeez, yeah. dude.
Jesus.
We got
We got Jake coming in here saying he thinks of parallel universes when looking at that one where you could turn looks like kayaks
I-
or
Nice.
holding
I
around.
agree.
Nice.
I saw like two different cities. One side was
Chad there.
pink,
Nice. Oh.
and one
Catch
side
what
was
it is.
like a dark, snowy
Yeah.
night type thing on the other. And then also a watermelon hit on one.
The red coming out.
Yeah.
Should we
With the
do?
green and the-
Should we do one last round of cigar stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's your Catch-22 Connecticut turned
Yeah,
out?
this
Very
is a
good.
new one for all of us.
Pretty fantastic Connecticut. Little bit of that general.
Sorry, guys. we're just touching up our makeup with our. With my,
little bit of that general kind of hay type of flavor. So I generally like in Connecticut. So I do approve of this one.
Good thing you don't get the fever.
Uh-huh.
that happened so fast.
Ben?
Well, I will go back to my Tatooine, the
The
Kahonu.
Tatooine cojones.
It's not Tatooine.
Tatooine Kahonu.
No. It's kohonu.
Kahonu. By all
Yeah.
means, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no.
The pissed off
it's a sexy
Tatooine.
cigar, man. I like that.
This it's very nice. I'm still very much middle of the stick. I'm still right in the sweet spot of this thing. I smoke slowly. I've had a couple relays, as you might have noticed, but man, this thing is nice. It's
And I tried it.
tobacco forward, which I always love, like that sweet tobacco flavors. I'm getting a really nice leathery, like mouth coating leathery kind of feeling on here. And I don't know, like sometimes when I'll hear Carlos talk about like banana and stuff, I'm like, fuck, I don't even think about that. But I'm like, yeah, there's like little sweet fruit notes, but it's not fruity or citrusy, but it's like, I don't know, trying to describe that sweetness. This is a great cigar and I dig it a lot. I like Tatooine a lot, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Joey at Veterans of the Leaf, as well as this the cigar Chad's had with the
Catch-22.
the Catch-22. That's right. So again,
Do you
shout out.
guys sell it here at the shop?
No, we don't sell it, and we usually like to feature cigars that we sell, of course. But on the other hand, sometimes we have people who just bring us cigars because they like us and they like our shop, and that's like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like someone just showed up and was like, "Hey, I got you guys these cigars." Like we didn't ask for it; they just thought of us, and they brought us cigars, and I think that's so cool, and it makes me happy. And anyway, but these are fantastic.
It makes me wish that we could just give cigars away, but unfortunately,
Nah, yeah,
can't do that with
yeah.
the law.
But anyway, veterans of the Leaf, VOTL, Joey, thanks so much. These are great, man.
Everyone
I'm
with
having
us
a
now?
great time with
1, 2, 3. Thanks,
Thanks,
Joey.
Joey.
yeah.
What about
Back
you,
to
Carlos?
Mr. Carlos, our
How's your
prestigious guest.
one man only, exclusive until he dies, rolled Padron?
We're not done yet.
Hopefully-
Padron might show up
hopefully
any
another
moment.
one rolls
I asked
another
them to
one, yeah.
chime in. They didn't, but
Yeah. Well, so this is the Maduro. Again, Padron 1926.
Way to go, Chad.
He chatted. Oh, everybody take a shot. Yeah, Padron 1926 series, 80 years. I think.
Why is it called the 80 years?
So I think it's because Orlando Padron, who was the founder, he passed away. God, I want to say it was 4 or 5 years ago. I can't put my finger on it, but anyways, when he turned 80, his son Jose Orlando Padron, who now runs a company, decided to make a special cigar from like the highest parts of the mountain where they grow like the most exclusive tobacco or whatever. And I mean, guys, these are probably about a $35 cigar, but I mean, again, it's a super, super special. Like, I will probably smoke another one of these like when I marry my fiance in Puerto Rico in May of 2025.
I'm happy that this is such a special
Be there?
occasion for
Which
you.
he said you'll be there,
Yes, I will be there.
and then we'll
Have
be there
dates.
too in Chad and Dakota.
Yeah, we're all
can.
invited.
Yeah.
I just have
We're
to find
definitely
Shut
invited.
them down for
I'll
a
try to
week.
be there.
I have like 40 million cousins. One of them can be a sitter.
I
I don't
have
know
my
if they can
passport
handle Arthur and
here,
Levi.
so I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready. Yeah, so 80 years. I'm kind of getting, so I poured a little bit more of the redwoods. I'm getting a little more of like cedary, kind of less pepper, maybe kind of white pepper in there. I don't know, peppercorn, I want to say. A little bit of like citrus flavors in there, which it's great. I've never actually paired it with this before, and I'm gonna have to do this again this summer. It's freaking phenomenal. I like this pairing here.
Pairings make a crazy difference, right? Isn't it crazy how different the pairing makes the cigar?
Yeah.
And the company.
Yeah.
Do you find that the company makes the pairing different? Or like the atmosphere, your mind, your state of like mental well-being makes the
I gotta say, sitting on the back patio, a decent beer is adequate, but sitting here, like a nice bourbon really does it for me.
I'm with you on that one, 100%. Yeah. Again, I mean, I can sit on my deck. I had like some Willet bourbon, some of the pot still stuff the other
Oh,
day.
little tiny ones?
The little tiny one,
I
yeah.
love those.
I had that with like another Padron that I had, cheaper Padron, the Soberano, I think it's the Maduro. And that pairing was great, but I had the same pairing when you guys had the Christmas party here, because somebody had brought the big bottle of that.
My bud Matt brought it.
Yeah, Matt.
Yep.
Or was that? I think
He also did
yeah.
half
Oh,
the
this
sheetrocking
this
in
past
there.
year?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I bought one a couple years ago, and I was like,
He
I
brought one
definitely-
in, and I was like, "Oh my God, Matt, you shouldn't have brought them." He's like, "I like you
Yeah.
guys."
Yeah, no, I did the same pairing, the same exact pairing, the same, the same pot still stuff with the same exact
Different experience.
Padron, completely different experience. Like here, like I could taste like the veins of the wrapper. Like I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like every nutmeg and cinnamon and like I don't know, papaya or whatever in there, right? And then I a couple
You're
weeks
saying
ago,
it's the magic zone in there.
it's the magic zone, man.
There is a reason
This
that
place is
Padron
magic, dude.
There's a reason that Padron is like the name that it is.
Yeah.
Like,
And you got a lot of the cigar websites or just any website really, you type in the name of a cigar and like the name of the whiskey that you bought or one that you're thinking about buying, and like, say like Reddit or something, and they'll be like, yeah, you'll taste this, and this pairs good with that, right? But really, kind of going back to what you were saying, I think it's really like mental, because like if you're just leaving work and you're pissed off, or you just God forbid you just got fired, something happened, you got to fire somebody, and you're going home and you're like, I'm just gonna bust open this bottle of Macallan 25 and it's like $400 like Davidoff, De Oro or something. You're not really gonna get the experience, like you're not, you want to do it, that's why they say like if you're gonna have a cigar, dude, just it's relaxation time, like. I like having cigars after a painting. That is the best thing in the world, man.
Do you blow the smoke on the canvas?
That's a good idea. I should do that and see what the effects do.
I know for me, for the Ramon Bueso Genesis, the project that I'm having, got it. It's progressed from being just like some mild, like nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon, no pepper, just a little bit of heat, but like you can kind of pick it out with a mild sweetness and then kind of like the classic kind of oily Maduro-ness. It's progressed to have those same flavors, but a little bit like turned up. And then it's getting like a little bit of like leather to it, like fresh canned leather is kind of coming through, a little bit of tang, a little bit of funk. And then a tiny bit of like creaminess to it, which is pretty nice. And the Redwood Empire, I mean, either is pairing with it really well or it's not taking a lane and the cigar is just demolishing it. I don't know which.
Nice.
So it's turned out really well.
Nice.
Well, thanks for coming and being here.
On that high note, we're gonna go with this
hold
one.
on. Let's
Bye.
we love Jane.
Love y'all.
We love you all very much. And then let's
Adios,
do
baby.
another round really quick of just saying that we love you and appreciate you. Also, to our future lounge guests, you're going to see a beautiful mural as you come down our steps and enter the lounge. The first thing you're going to see is a piece of art by this man, which we appreciate very much. And you have a show coming up more immediately this coming Friday.
And he does not have he has helped design the logo for the lounge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ideas, you did help. You were there. You were there.
All right.
I guess I'll take some credit.
You'll take a little bit of credit.
I
Art
feel
show.
guilty.
But Carlos, and all of his efforts, all this time and love and passion that he's put into these art projects, that's why he's here today. Like we've had him before as like the cigar guy. He's here as our artist right now. I think that's so cool.
I'm sorry, Ben. Artiste.
One more time, let's talk about let's get the websites, let's get the date and location of these shows.
Yeah.
Take it away. What's coming up? We got things coming up.
Yeah, so my website is so my first and last name, Carlos Pereira. So CarlosPereira art.com. And that is my website there. I have my it's actually my very first exhibition. I've had 11 First Fridays in Anchorage since I moved here in 2013. This is my third exhibition ever. I've had two in Texas.
That's actually a fairly prestigious, for Alaska, art exhibit.
Yeah.
They've been there since I was a kid.
Yes, I'm excited. I actually applied to have the center gallery about a year and a half ago, and so this has been in the planning for about 2 years.
And when is the exhibit and where is it located?
It's getting there.
So the exhibit is April 7th, so it's gonna be next Friday at the International Gallery of Contemporary Art here in downtown Anchorage. So for the
D Street, right?
D Street. So for those of you that live here, where the Bubbly Mermaid used to be, just right next door to that, or if you know where Originale, the Italian restaurant's at, it's just right across, just right where the parking
D
lot is
Street,
there,
just
right
off
across.
Fifth.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, D Street just off Fifth, between 4th and 5th, I guess.
Yep,
is
yep.
Yeah. So from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So when you leave work, come on by. If you have any questions, you can talk to me. I know the names, I know the medium, I know the sizes of every single painting that's going to be in there. I'm going to have 18 pieces there.
You totally don't have cards in your hand you're reading off of.
No, I'm just smelling my cigar. Oh, you mean at the show?
Yeah.
No. I've got it dialed down pretty good too. And actually, Dakota, if you want to bring up the pictures that I sent you guys, I think I have a flyer in there. If you just wanted to bring that up, I don't know.
That was the
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That sculpture is one that I made, and that will be on display right in the center of the center gallery too, at the First Friday. And so I want to dive just a tiny bit into that. When I designed this thing, what you see on the head of the mannequin are scraps of actual canvases that I ripped off when I was stretching the canvases for the paintings that are going to be at the show.
Oh, because we didn't talk about this. I kind of wanted to, but you stretch and
I
cure
build-
and make your own canvas.
I
You,
build
like,
the frames. So
you do it from like the base materials.
the base
up.
materials, yeah. So I build the frames. So I go out and I buy the wood. It's untreated pine wood, very, very dried, or it's kiln dried pine wood. So that way it doesn't warp over time, right? So that's the last thing you want is to buy a painting. You're spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a painting. You put it on your wall, and 15 years later the thing is looking curved in the whole thing.
Yep.
I've seen that happen before, and the reason why is because people go cheap with the wood and they go cheap with the framing, right? And so what you want is something that's kiln dried, something that's as dried as you can get it, right? And so that's what I have done. I've been able to acquire, thankfully, with a lot of the suppliers around town, been able to acquire some really good, quality wood. I cut them, I size them, I put them together, I stretch the canvas. It's 80% Egyptian cotton canvas, which I like because when you stretch it, the canvas will really soak in the oils of the paint. So that actually prevents it from yellowing over time. So if you go to like Goodwill or, I don't know, Valley Village or something, and you're like, oh, I like that painting, and it's like an 81 or an 80 or 1982, somebody painted 1982, and you see like this crazy yellow like film over it, it's probably going to be cheap canvas, right?
Or cigar smoke.
Or cigar smoke.
Yeah.
Or cigarettes, right? And so I try to go with as high quality as I can, because that's what I want for either the buyer or the viewer, right? I want to be able to, to prove that, there's life behind these paintings. And so, again, if you have questions about any of the paintings, if you're there on, which hopefully I hope you are, next Friday, April 7th, 5 to 8, International Gallery of Contemporary Arts. For First Friday, come on by. I will talk about the paintings. You'll see this sculpture.
Come to the event.
Yeah, you'll see the sculpture. These are actual brushes that I used in several of my paintings that you'll see at the gallery.
Come on down.
Yeah, with a lot of the paint on it too. So a lot of it, I just left the paint on there. I let it dry, and I just glued it on this thing. And by the way, the blue color that you see on there is the exact same Pantone color that is on my website, and that's the blue that I use behind the theme. I can't name it's like Pantone 03542.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Sure.
I don't know. Well, yeah, one of those, which I should probably remember that, 'cause I'm sure someone will ask me. But yeah, come on by. And again, thanks to you guys. These are some of my bestest friends here. I was able to.
We love you.
Yeah, I love you guys too, man. I was able to.
We love you. All right.
Alaskan Cigar Aficionados. These guys have the best cigar selection that I've ever
Oh,
seen.
shucks.
And this guy, Ben,
Shucks and
knows
gosh
his
darn it.
shit. He knows his shit. And if you
Man.
want some knives, Lori here and Dakota and Chad and everybody else and all the audience is back there.
All right. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Carlos, for
Absolutely,
being here.
man. Thank you.
Come,
guys, man.
come support a local artist, man. Come support Carlos and your fellow brother of the leaf. Dakota, I leave it to you. Take us out.
All right. On that high note, we're going to go back to the tent. We'll see you guys next first Saturday of May. No, April. No, May.
The next first Saturday of April,
We'll
guys.
see you
the next
soon.
first Saturday of April.
That was an
See you in a
April
month.
Fool's joke.